Gedankentanken befindet sich auf der Silicon Valley Reise. Mit 70 Unternehmern sind wir heute durch San Francisco gereist und haben viele Unternehmen besucht und haben heute einen krönenden Abschluss gefunden heute Abend. Wir haben gerade einen sehr, sehr inspirierenden Vortrag gehört von Gregory La Blanc. Er ist Professor an der University of Berkeley, einer der Elite-Universitäten der USA, und er hat noch ein paar Minuten Zeit gefunden, uns ein paar Fragen zu beantworten. Gregory, you just talked about that this is not really a digital revolution, it's more a management revolution. What do you mean by that?
Well, what I mean to say is that technology by itself can't do anything, right? So you can acquire all the best technology, and if you don't have the right management, then it's a complete waste of money, it's a complete waste of effort, it's all going to be useless. And so I think that not only did the first industrial revolution, but the second, third, and now the fourth industrial revolution, it's really primarily about management, changing the way we run our organizations, and then exploiting all the technology that we have around us.
What's the big difference in management right now compared to maybe five or 10 years ago?
Yeah, so management used to be very much about hierarchy. It used to be about command and control. It used to be about designing a coherent business model where all the parts fit together, right? So I've been teaching strategy for 25 years, and it always was about making sure that your marketing is in alignment with your operations, which is in alignment with your HR, so in order to optimally design any one piece, you have to know how all the other pieces work. We're now moving to a world where everything is modular, where everything is fluid, where teams are small and pieces of the business are small, and interfaces across these different parts enable companies to continually change their form, change their content, change what they do, change what they don't do, change who does it, and this ability to evolve very quickly in a changing environment is what makes management different.
What does it mean for the daily job of a typical manager, maybe in Germany? What is changing right now in his daily life?
So I think, first of all, the knowledge that you acquire in school is very quickly obsolete. Okay, It used to be that you could acquire some skill set and then amortize it over 40 years. You can't do that. Similarly, you'd build relationships, and those relationships you would amortize over 40 years. That's not going to work anymore. You have to be continually developing new skills. You have to be continually developing new partners and working with new people. But I think most importantly, as a manager, you have to understand how to coordinate your teams, to create structures which enable what we call microservices to flourish within your organization. And then secondly, to imbue in all the people in your organization this idea that everyone's a customer. It's customers all the way down. Right? Everyone has, as a customer, all the other members of the organization of the company, and whatever you do in your job, you're producing things that all the other members of the organization are going to be using.
What you said just a couple of minutes ago was that the new customer is the employee. So What do you mean by that?
So what I mean is that in marketing, you'd spend a lot of time talking about the sales funnel, creating awareness and then finding customers who would be interested in your product and then buy your product and ultimately become addicted to your product and delight in the product and then tell others about your product. And that's because you could take your employees more or less for granted. I think the tables have turned. Your customer is someone that is probably going to be locked in if you're a platform company to some extent. And your employees are the ones that are going to be continually churning. And so you have to be continually selling to your employee. In fact, some companies like Salesforce, they take the marketing people and the HR people and they rotate them through because they're doing the same thing. The other thing is that since all of your internal products might potentially become external products, and all of your external products are going to be used by your internal employees, you have to think of your employees as your customers, and in fact, perhaps your most important customers.
You said that the average time an employee works in the Silicon Valley for one company is about 1.5 years.
Yeah.
I think in Germany it's a bigger number.
Yeah.
Do you think it will change in Germany as well?
Absolutely. I mean, obviously there are some legal hurdles and some regulatory hurdles, and there's the tradition of labor stability. But ultimately, I think the technology will win out. And ultimately, I think that what employees want will win out. People want to have a journey of curiosity. They want to try different things. The lifespan of a typical company now is much shorter, and so people think in terms of projects. They don't think in terms of careers within some single company.
You lived in Germany for a while, I think close to Freiburg.
Yes.
So you know the German Mittelstand.
Yes.
I think the German Mittelstand is very important for
Yes.
the German economy and also for the future of Germany itself. And what do you think is the biggest issue of the German Mittelstand regarding the digital transformation, or, as you said, the management revolution?
Yeah, so a lot of people think that in this era of big data, the big companies are going to ultimately take over the world, the Facebooks and the Googles and so forth. In reality, it's actually quite easy to run a small company now because you can outsource so much. So I think for the Mittelstand companies, in order for them to flourish, they have to really understand what it is that they're good at and what it is that they don't need to be doing themselves. And so as this ecosystem of kind of microservice providers begins to flourish in Germany, I think the Mittelstand companies can actually do better because they can outsource more and more of what it is that they do. They can outsource their HR. They can outsource their fulfillment. They can outsource their marketing and so forth.
What stays when I also outsource everything?
Yeah,
what
so
stays in my company?
The thing that you and you alone are good at, the thing that you bring to the table. So if you are producing a fine crafted product and you know how to make that product better than anyone else, then that's the thing you're going to do. You're going to focus just on the design and the making, organizing the making of that product. You're not going to concern yourself with all the other functionalities that you could share with other Mittelstand companies. There are economies of scale in a lot of the provision of a lot of these third-party services, and you don't need to have that stuff in-house.
Yeah. When I have a company or I'm managing a company, how much time do I have left to think about my strategy, my culture? The thing is that to focus on your main competence and all that.
Yeah.
How much time do I have left? 10, 20, 25 years?
Well, I think that with all the automation that's happening, what that does is it actually distills down what it is that you do into the thing that you really want to do and the thing that you really enjoy doing. And so when you're doing the thing that you really want to do and the thing that you really enjoy doing, there's no reason why you would ever need to stop. So I think that the tasks that are going to be automated are going to be the ones that nobody wants to do anyway, right? People talk about, all these factory workers are going to lose their jobs. Factory work is not great work. It's what Friedrich Engels said was the satanic mills. He called them the satanic mills. Agriculture used to be, people would talk about, we got the sunshine and the great outdoors. It was actually horrible work. So I think the quality of our work is going to just get better and better as we automate more and more of the tasks that we spend most of our time doing.
But that is the perspective of a worker, that maybe he has not that much time left to have work, but how much time do I have as a manager or as a company owner to change my culture and all that? Not to get hurt by one of the big players in America or that my business is disrupted and I'm not needed anymore.
Not a lot of time. You need to get with the program, as we say in English. It's things are happening so fast. I talk in my talk about how I look around and see a lot of dead companies. They're still making money, they still have positive cash flow, but they're dead. And that's because they haven't adapted their business model to the modern world. So, yes, if you're a company that is using obsolete business model, you can ride it out for a couple of years and retire and so forth. But I do think a sense of urgency is very important. It's critical that you take seriously this idea of digital transformation, because if you do not, you will be displaced, you will be supplanted, and you'll go out of business.
You talked about the mega drivers that change or which force this disruption.
Yeah.
You talked about what was it? Big data in the past. What's the newest big changer?
Well, a lot of people are talking about blockchain, right? And I think a lot of this conversation is misguided. A lot of this conversation is all heat and no light, as they say. The area where I think this technology has huge potential is in what we call distributed ledgers. And so distributed ledgers technology.
What is that?
Distributed ledger technology. It basically is the idea that instead of companies having these proprietary databases that they are isolated or segmented from the databases of all these other companies, they pool their data in a way that all the different members of this ecosystem can access, and all of those different ledgers are reconciled instantaneously. So if I'm part of a supply chain, I can see, right, what's happening in that supply chain, both downstream and upstream. And this facilitates much greater coordination. It facilitates much better decision making. All of the artificial intelligence that we talk about is enabled by the greater sharing of this data. So I think that's all going to be a huge positive development. It's going to sweep aside entire industries around auditing and accounting, entire industries around clearing and settlement of financial instruments. Lawyers, much of the work that lawyers do are going to be disrupted by these smart contracts. So I foresee dramatic changes in the area of information management.
Greg, thanks a lot for the speech and also for that interview, and thank you for that.
Thank you, Alexander.
Wenn Sie dieses Interview spannend fanden, dann haben Sie vielleicht auch Lust, uns mal persönlich ins Silicon Valley zu begleiten, um zu sehen, was Unternehmen dort so erfolgreich macht und sich inspirieren zu lassen. Falls ja, informieren Sie sich hier oben beim Klick auf diesen Button und sichern Sie sich einen der begehrten Plätze.